Good morning, good evening, good day, good night. Welcome to Positive Rate. I've got a challenge set for me. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. How you doing today? Welcome to the channel. And I've got two guys from the team today. Say hello to Kevin. How are you, Kev?
Not too bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just... This multiplayer bug is really getting me down. And,
yeah, I know, it's been bothering me as well.
Absolutely sick of it. I can't see any beta. I know you guys, Nick is off to the right of me and you're off to the left of me, or the other way around.
But yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It's just... Yeah. Fix it, Microsoft, please. Asobo, come on. What are you doing? It was after the last update, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah.
Big shout out to Beluga. How you doing? Oh, you're gonna try fly the ATR. Ooh.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to keep up with us, though, unfortunately.
We're a bit slow, I think. Yeah, we're up to 35.
But if you take off before us, maybe you'll... Now, the problem is, all warning, I got a multiplayer problem. The multiplayer aircraft might pop back in again. I have no idea. I've been trying to reset things. It doesn't quite work, but that's okay, because I've got Nick here to console me. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not bad. It's kind of a murky, dark, rainy kind of Saturday here. I don't know what it's like where you guys are, but
it's sunny in London.
Is it sunny? Oh,
yeah, it's beautiful.
Sunny in London. It's very sunny in London. Hey, what about yourself, Kev?
It's not nice, but it's not bad either. Like, you know, it's a bit grim. It's not raining, so that's
well, it's not raining. That's all right. That's not too bad then. I was supposed to be doing some work outside after the stream today. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm gonna go shopping instead after this. But anyway, it's one of these things. I got a cool thing to talk about too.
There's what we had the other day.
What's that? Well, there's two cats.
You should see the weather. Like we had the day.
Sorry, Kev. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so we had really thick fog the other day. I'd say about 2.
Thick fog, yeah. We haven't had any fog really at the moment.
Thick fog, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right.
It might be on the way because it does kind of seem to.
Gonna get rid of all this stuff. And of course, the AF carts are gonna show up, so I'm gonna have to release them as well. But okay, well. So we're flying the PMDG 737 today. Big shout out to Two Cats as well. He says it's kilt weather. Join us on Content Creators if you want, Two Cats. Just pop in and say hello. It's up to you if you have time. And I can't get the jet bridge to work with the PMDG thing, so I've just used the ATC control here. But hey ho, that's fine. So what we'll do is actually I'll get rid of that bridge. How's life on my end? Yeah, I'm doing okay, Two Cats. Just I'm getting really fed up with this multiplayer bug that seems to have been introduced with the last sim update. And that's Nighthawk coming in. He says, "Morning, everyone," in a rainy Ontario. Oh, right. Whereabouts are you in Ontario, Nighthawk? I think I probably asked you this question before. Right, so hopefully that's gone away. Yeah, it has. Okay, cool. Right, so we'll get the... I'm completely phased. As soon as something weird like multiplayer happens, I start losing track of myself, but let's get back into the swing. I got everything set up, so let's talk about the flight plan first. Right, that's a good idea. Let's get your mind off. We'll just focus on the job at hand. So we're flying from Venice to Tivat. Presuming I'm saying that right. I don't know. Right, how do we get... Right, let's show you what we're doing here. There we go. So, we are taking off from Venice. This is the Kotor departure, which there's not a heck of a lot in it, but basically taking off from runway 4 right and just a slow loop around. Should be some good views actually coming over southern Italy there. Intercepting with a Kotor, and then we are going en route all the way down and cutting across into Montenegro. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So as we descend, top descents around about DBK or something like that, we're going to fly over Taz, intercept Soreg, and then we're going to do a slow circle on a, it's a localizer approach into Tivat. The key thing with this is it's actually a, what we call an offset approach. So when we get close in, the runway is not actually aligned with localizer, so we have to kind of do a nice slow circle around, hopefully a nice slow circle around, to come in for a landing into Tivat. And this is the challenge that was set. Whose bright idea was this challenge anyway? Was that you, Kevin?
Yeah, it was indeed.
Yeah, exactly. I have done a little a practice run on it. I should be okay. There was my last practice was a bit of a thumper, but there was a couple things that I forgot to do on the way down. So hopefully, whoop, don't know what I've done there. Okay, that was interesting. Yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So let's get everything started up. We've pretty much loaded flight plans and everything like that. Nighthawk, west of Toronto near Guelph. I know Guelph very well. So I used to live in Durham, Ontario, which was just up Highway 6 there, and of course I'm originally from Hamilton, Ontario. So yeah, very familiar with Guelph. Right, what am I doing here? Okay, APU, let's get that started.
Package to Guelph once.
What's that, Kev?
I had to send a package to Guelph once. I used to sell photos online, and there was someone in Guelph actually working.
Guelph, Ontario?
Yep.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it costs a bit to send, but you look at
yeah, it's a reasonable size. It would be, it's a city. I want to say the population of Guelph's probably around 30,000? 30,000? What do you reckon, Nighthawk? 30,000 in Guelph? Maybe more than that now. Could be about 50. I don't know. It's not as small as it used to be, that's for sure. No, Hamilton's about 500,000 and 750,000 metropolitan. I was talking about Guelph. Guelph would be, I'm not from Hamilton. All right, okay. It's okay, mate. You know, it's all good. I thought you guys around Guelph were Ticat fans, but maybe I'm wrong. It's all fine. We got APE power, so we can ask for the ground power to be released. And I gotta get rid of those bloody aft carts there as well. So get that's done. Disconnecting the ground power. Guelph is closing 150,000. Wow, it's as much as that now. Wow. Blimey. That's crazy. Okay, remove the wheel chocks. So I've got barrow set is 1015 on my last METAR check for Lips, which is Venice, Lima, India, Papa Zulu.
Lovely airport this is as well. Venice.
It is, yeah. Thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Good cue there. So this is Lips available from Orbx. I'm not sure if there's a studio behind that or if this is an Orbx indie. Hopefully, maybe Nick can check that out for me. And it's definitely an airport in two parts. So I presume that this would have been. Actually, this looks like a cargo terminal. That's what I would assume that is. Which was parked at that earlier, but there are stands there, so I presume they bus people out, and you can see the little bus route there. But then you get into the main terminal here, and this is where things look absolutely stunning. I mean, just look at that. It's definitely an original type of look, and if you drop into, look at this, guys, absolutely stunning. A lot of hard work went into this. And yeah, it's just a really cool looking airport.
This is great. These guys, it's a beautiful model of the world. They're great developers.
Yeah, absolutely. Who was it? Did we find out who the developer was?
Yeah, it's beautiful model of the world.
Beautiful model of the world. Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
So big salute out to them because I think this is just a fantastic job. And yeah, just a lot of detail all around here. So I'm quite impressed with it. Look at that. Amazing. Really cool. Big airport too, actually, considerably.
I think it probably gets a lot of traffic though, like given that, like if you look across to where left hand side Venice is over there.
Oh wait, let's do that. See if we can find find Venice. Where are you? All right, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, of course. I'd take the drone over Venice, but I think we're going to end up burning up time here. But I got a big thing to talk about. But we'll wait till cruise. It's the so is it Synaptic A220 came out with a big video on some of the systems that we're working on. It looks absolutely extraordinary, so I'll bring that up a bit later. In the meantime, though, let's get everything ready for pushback. I'll just bring that music down just a little bit. Right, so we want pushback, select tug, and we're going standard out. Let's take it about 110 meters.
Cockpit to ground.
I'll push myself there as well.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if I'm pushing back into you guys, so I'll just trust that I'm not hitting you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm taking a right hand turn and you're putting tail to the right, so you should be okay. That's right.
Cool. Parking brake, yeah, sorry.
Brakes released.
There you go. I do like the that you can release the brakes with the toe brakes. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really handy.
Brakes released. Here we go.
Okay, off we go. Engine 2. N1, bringing fuel. Fuel pumps be good. Oh, hydraulics as well. Silly, man.
ACR just landed on the runway we were taking off at, I think. Or no, it's the fair one.
Sorry, say again?
Isn't ACR just after landing?
I've screwed up my pushback because I didn't have the... Alright, let's see if he'll push me back 20 meters. No. Alright, it's probably going to put me... Yeah.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for push and start. Tail to the right.
My fault. I didn't put on the hydraulics. Put on your hydraulics before you push back, folks. Nothing will happen.
You're meant to have them off, I would have thought. Like, I usually turn mine on when when they're disconnected, because if you have the hydraulics on, they can't turn the nose wheel.
That's right. I found out the hard way and then did a little bit of research, realized what I was doing wrong. So I've got the hydraulics on now, and he's turning, so that's fine.
Very good.
The problem is if you don't do that, it gets into a kind of a nasty loop, and it's very hard to disengage the pushback. So hopefully, once he does his piece. Come on, I'm probably going to end up on the edge of this taxiway, but that's fine.
Here, look towards the grass at the moment.
Yeah, I am. He should be turning though. Hopefully he's going to turn.
Nice.
There, he's turning now.
Yeah, you're super running now. Yeah. Very good.
I'm taking the scenic tour of the apron. In reverse style.
Exactly.
There we go. He should stop shortly now. Wasn't a complete disaster, but not ideal. And yeah, just what I messed up there. So the hydraulic pumps must come on for that nose wheel to turn on, and that's your issue.
Pushback complete. Parking brake set.
Okay, so we got power off there, and let's start, put that in continuous, and start engine 1. Oh, before we do that, CN1 building. Bringing fuel. Yeah, still don't see anybody around me quite yet, unfortunately.
Right. You're kind of parallel to me, just off to my left hand side. You know,
Yeah.
your wingtip will kind of be coming with mine.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got initial climb out of about 128, so I just set the indicator speed to 135, although the auto throttle, and we'll take that over once we get going. See, 5-degree flap departure as well. Go, just reset, enable 250. Doing or not's right, we'll deal with that later. Right, so bring off the APU there, power on there, and bring in some taxi lights. Let's make sure we do have a tug there still, so let's set that. He's probably waiting for us to set the brakes. And you'll magically disappear. There we go. Okay. So we'll set our flaps now. See those coming out. You even hear the noises of the flaps. It's really cool.
Did a great job with it.
They have. The sounds on this are quite good. My only complaint is the engines seem a bit quiet in the cockpit, but apart from that, it's an absolutely fantastic model.
Yeah. I think what they're doing with the engines quiet in the cockpit is they're simulating headphones. Because when I turned on my headphone simulation for a while there, and I couldn't hear the callouts at all.
Could be. So it
Yeah.
could be like a sound setting. Oh, I see people now. I see
Hello.
Nighthawk. Yay! Where's everybody else? So that's a question.
I'm behind you.
Oh, you're behind me. That's why I can't see you out the front.
Yeah.
Just confusing me now.
Exactly. But you're taking it fairly fast.
I am. Yeah. Right, now I think, can I take this taxiway down? Is that the correct one?
Let me check my chart
No,
there.
no. Okay.
Yeah, Kilo 5 is going back to the apron. Quebec 1
So I'm taking
and
Mike.
Tango.
Mike all the way to the end, and then
Yeah.
around the back of 4 left into 4 right. I think I'm right in saying that.
Seems to be.
No. It's Nighthawk. No, I can see Nighthawk. Can't see you guys yet.
Right. I'm just passing Nick now behind him.
Very strange.
Yeah.
Well, at least we'll get to see Nighthawk depart. That's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Looks like he's taken off from 4 left as opposed to 4 right.
No, he's... Oh, that is 4 right, yeah. 4 left, sorry.
Actually, what you can do, we could take off at the same time. I'll go to 4 right, and you stay on 4 left.
Simultaneous departures.
That'd be kind of neat.
I feel like San Francisco or something.
Yeah. Are you flying the Phoenix today, Nick?
Yep. Love it.
I know.
I love
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I love the ATR better. Did I say that?
Oh yeah.
Are you joking?
Yeah. I love it.
Really? Is it
Yeah,
worth
really?
it? Is it worth the money then?
God, yeah, definitely. It takes a while to
interesting.
set up.
Yeah.
It's
I
taken me a
mean, I
long
know
time to set up
people
the hardware and everything, but
found it very fiddly with the throttle or something like that. That's what I've been seeing on the
Yeah.
streams.
Willy, would you be interested in a few ATR flights though?
What's that?
Would you be interested in some ATR flights?
Probably would. Yeah, I just got to drop the coin on it, but it's not,
Yeah.
breaking the bank.
It's not expensive at all, like yeah. Yeah. Cool. I have a few ideas though.
Because we don't have any kind of proper commercial turboprop, really.
We don't know, yeah.
So, there was a developer looking at the Dash 8, but I think that's just died a death.
I'd say so, yeah. I've
I've
been really
been
new
to-
for that in a long while.
I've been to London City, I've been to the Isle of Man, I've been to Sunborough, I've been to all these places I'd never go to normally.
Yeah. Have you been to
Night-
Donegal?
Question from
No.
Nighthawk first. What is better, localizer or NDB approach? I'm using the localizer Z approach, Nighthawk. Which the difference is the plane will actually track the path in to the offset. NDB, to be honest with you, it's not a huge difference. In theory, localizer approach would be more accurate. But on a clear day like this, you're probably all right. Although I would say, given the choice of the two, localizer is probably the more recommended one. I don't know if Nick or Kev have an opinion about that.
Yeah, like I'd be partial to the localizer approach because it's
Yeah,
easier.
localised, yeah.
Yeah.
I've missed all sorts of things because I'm kind of phased today. So let's do our homework here. So we should have, before we enter that runway, we should have the landing lights on, and we should also have strobes. Any collision should have been on when you're pushing back up down. All sorts of things I'm missing. And seatbelts are good too. Hey, it's all about safety after the fact, isn't it? Right, okay, I'm just about ready. Still can't see you guys yet, but that's alright. We'll just get in the air and get going. Line yourselves up a little bit better. Arm the auto throttle. Flight director. There we go. Okay. Final checks. Anything we need to be worried about? Yes, we will put TARA on. And okay, on 3, Nighthawk. 1, 2, 3. I'll wait, see if I can see him rolling first before I go. And we'll do a side-by-side departure. That's something we've not done before. Assume Nighthawk's going. I know there's a bit of a delay on the stream. Oh, there he goes. Okay, he's starting to roll. 50%. Off we go.
Knots. Rotate.
Rotating.
Positive rate of climb.
You're up. Bring in the VNAV. Flaps 2. Flaps 1. we're entering the Sid now. Get a look at the beautiful scenery below us there. Flap 0. And there's Venice. I never actually looked at the airport elevation for Venice, but it's probably 0.
20-ish, like at
This is
the
20. 20.
Yeah,
'Cause
15, 20, like
I think it's 20 feet as well in Tivat.
Is it?
I think so, yeah, it's quite low. Which stands to reason because it's quite close to the water, so. Okay, and now I've been assigned 29,000. I don't know what you guys have got.
And 37.
37.
Yeah, same. 37.
37, yeah.
There is a 10,000 limit until we pass Cato. Presuming the VNAV will hold us there. Johnny Mons dropped in. He says, "Hello, guys. Hello." And Shark Kitty. Hey, yo. Hi, Shark Kitty. How are you? Great to see you. And our final procedure turn as we say goodbye to Venice. The land of gondolas, isn't it? Is it gondolas that are the little boats that kind of go through all the canals? I've never been there. I thought it'd be a nice place to see. Johnny Munn says, "You're late." Oh, it's okay. What server are we on? We're on North Europe, mate. North Europe. It would be something to see in real life, this departure, actually. Look at that. And we don't have too much clouds, so we're actually getting a decent view of Venice as we depart. Very cool. Okay, that's VNAV, I think, holding us at 10,000. I'm going to take off those landing lights. Don't need taxis either. Oop, excuse me. And up we go. Stunning scenery. Look at that. Okay, looks like we've passed our restriction. Actually, no, that's taken us past 10,000 at Cato, so it's not following that restriction, so it's probably because we've set the altitude high. But that's fine, we'll get up there. Seeing as all I can only see one other airplane on the server at the moment. It's very frustrating. I think I'm on the cost index has probably restricted my altitude and my speed, so I might need to bump it up to what assigned speed do you guys have for cruise?
Let me check.
Because I think I'm at Mach 7.5. So
7.8.
You're 7.8.
Yeah, 7.8 for me.
So what I'll probably do is I'll just update that, and we can do that by going into here. You see the cost index has given us 0.74, but we can change that to 0.78. And our final turn as we make our initial run down to the southeast. I'll wait for this to get up to cruise, and then we'll... Right now, it's complaining unable 250. Okay, I get that quite a bit, so I'm actually just going to ignore it.
Yeah, it gives it to you for loads of different reasons. Like, if you're too slow, it'll say it's unable 250, and if you're going to be too fast, then it'll also be unable 250, so...
Oh, there's a... I can see why, because there's a 240 restriction for 2.
There you go, so
if
you
we
can describe it.
drop that back... now, this is where things get really interesting. There's a discontinuity here, and if I fix it... This is where things get really interesting. Right, standard pressure. Alright, let's take the plan. I might not do it this time because I think I know what I messed up last time. So that right now, this is our approach coming in over Taz and then in. Now, if I take that discontinuity out, it's going to bring in this weird kind of circle around, which is very strange. I'm not going to do that. If we take Sorag there, so we take Sorag to there, it's still going to do that. Look. Isn't that weird? So I don't, it's almost like it's getting confused about.
Pull up Olivu up.
There's Taz.
I think Taz NB is Taz NDB.
Yeah.
So if you take out Taz, take out Taz.
Take out Taz.
Yeah, go back up.
Okay, so erase that. So let's say we'll take Taz NB to Taz. Nope, still gonna give me that.
Alright.
If we take Sorag up to, still get a funny thing. I think it's a bug, and then it's just something's getting a little bit confused here.
Let me put up the star charts and we'll see what the story, or the arrival charts and we'll see what the story is.
So I'll clean up. I'll take Taz NB shows up because you actually passed Taz NB twice. Take Sorag to there. No, it's still going to do it. So I really don't have any answers to this apart from why am I beeping? Cabin altitude. I've got that set. What's going on here?
Have you turned on your pressurization or your packs? And your interface?
Yeah, that's a good point. Live and learn, eh?
Yeah, I've done that a few times with stuff.
There's a horn cut out here. There we go. So while all my passengers, all my passengers in the back are now passed out. Yeah, PAX is good. That's right. They'll recover shortly, I think.
Yeah, it hasn't for me a few times, but let's see.
It will. I think it does, but it takes a long time. So if you look at, this is a good learning lesson. Obviously, you would not do this in real life. You would have major issues, but you can actually see the pressurization is currently pressurized at 3,000 feet. That is far too low for the height we're at. It should be around 6, or actually I think 8,000 is probably the best that the 737 can manage. But now that we've got the packs on, you can see that's slowly starting to climb. So where it should be is around 8,000, and we're currently 3.5, slowly climbing. So that light will not come off until that gets to 8, which could take about at least 5-10 minutes. So we'll see. But we'll keep an eye on it. And I expect, Kevin, I expect that light to go out once it gets up to 8,000.
Yeah, we'll see.
Right, what was I doing before we got all confused? Yeah, this thing. So
what should I say with the arrival? What arrival are you on?
I am on the Taz 1D.
Taz 1 data, okay, let's see. The other charts up. It's 2 charts here.
Everything is in the plan pretty much alright, but just when I try to resolve that discontinuity,
yeah,
it's trying the FMC thinks it needs to kind of loop back to hit another waypoint in the same place.
So what I'm seeing here really is it's supposed to go outbound from Taz, bypass Sorag, go to Olivu. Well, it's bypass that as well a little bit. Into Gosut.
Bypass Sorag.
Bypass Sorag completely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's try that. And then if we take Taz to there. Yeah, that's well done, sir. Well done.
I just pulled up the charts and read it out.
Now, actually, what that's actually done now is Sorag was actually a loop point for us. So what I might try to do is see if we can bring Sorag back in after Taz NB, where it picks up all of the. So if
Try TAS 10.8 DME on a 111 degree radius.
Oh, you're being too clever for me now. I just want to bring Sorag back in. Now that was before. Was that before all of them? Yeah.
It was before all of them.
All right. It may still produce the same result, but well, it could be this. I mean, part of the problem might be the speed that we're asking it to do. Maybe the computer's saying, "I don't think I can make that waypoint in that speed." So that could be
I think what
another
I'm thinking
reason.
is that you're meant to go overhead Sorag. No, I think it thinks that you're meant to go overhead Sorag.
Yeah.
But the star it's bypassing it. So like what the Airbus has an overfly button. It's a little triangle down next to the
So
clear button.
how do I insert? I just think I just type it, don't I?
Yeah.
Sorag, and then put it ahead of. So that's brought Sorag back in, and if I bring Olu, oh, see, now it's okay with it. So that is a bug.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a bug.
Yeah. It just needs to be recycled.
It just needs to something about trying to put the two parts of the plan together just made it confused. Wait, he says, "What, Shark Kitty? Was the cabin varionegative?" Yeah, probably. Everyone's dead. They're all dead. It's all right. I've become a funeral transport at this point, so that's fine. And Nighthawk says there's an invisible plane setting off my TCAS alarms. Ooh, right. Well, because the multiplayer is a bit dodgy, quite possibly there is a plane there, and we just can't see it, unfortunately. What about Nick? Can you see myself and Nighthawk as well as Kevin?
Yeah, I see everyone.
Yeah.
Strange, right?
Well,
I'll take a quick spin around, see if I can. No, just Nighthawk at the moment. Maybe it's the Phoenix.
Surely not. Like if you can't see anyone other than Nighthawk, then
What model are you flying, Nighthawk? Could you let us know? Is it the Phoenix or the Fly-by-Wire? This plane could blow up. Yeah, it could blow up. Yeah, of course.
yeah, it's in the fly-by-wire. I'm using A2N.
Yeah, it won't be the Phoenix because that's a new 20N. Yeah, you're right. So I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery, but we'll just fly the route. Looks like Nighthawk was at 29,000 as well. Fly-by-wire, and everyone just popped up behind me. Yeah, I wish I could say the same. Ooh. Yep, I see you and Nick now, Kev.
Excellent.
And Johnny Mon's back there as well.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of him there, but I've taken off.
That's very frustrating. I don't know. What's going on, Asobo? What's going on? So obviously, Nighthawk's seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. This is not related to anybody's individual simulator. This is just a server problem, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, let's give a little check on that cabin pressure. So we can see now it is almost up to 6,000 ASL. Now 6,000... Actually, 6,000 I think is the target for this plane. I think the Dreamliner pressurizes to 8,000, which makes things a bit... Oh no, it pressurizes to 6.
less.
I'm wrong. I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 737 will be 8,000 because the pressurization, if the lower you can get it, obviously the better it is.
Yeah, it's less of a change in on the ears.
That's it. So the cabin altitude currently is at 10,000, right? So so we should be seeing that come up, and we should be seeing the cabin altitude come down.
Yeah.
So it's the actual pressurization of what is being put into the cockpit versus the effective pressurization comparable to sea level. Is that right? I think it's right.
Sounds right.
It does show cabin descent, though. Yeah, of course it does. Yeah. I've left the landing altitude at 0 because it's 20 feet. So I'm not sure on the rule of that. I always think you dial it to the closest for the landing altitude.
Yeah, it's usually the lowest. Not right.
Right. Oh, look, my lights come out, Kev.
Again?
My altitude warning light's off now.
Oh, excellent. Must be pressurized down, so.
Yeah. Everybody's waking up. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies for the unintended nap time there. We will be serving free drinks and food for the rest of the flight. Don't worry about it. Please don't tell your lawyers. Thank you. Oh, cruising good now. Coming up to one of our procedure turns at U-Team. And just checked in on the whole flight plan here. Just so you can see where we are. So we are... not tracking my route. Why am I not tracking my route? Flight. Everything's going wrong today. Don't know what's going on. But some soon link is there. Yes. Yes. Okay. Got back on. There we are. Okay. So as you can see, we are about halfway down. So we're flying along the boot. And it's always interesting when I'm flying these routes to learn new things about geography, which I'm absolutely horrible at. But Montenegro is obviously just kind of directly across from this boot. Here's a question for you, Kevin and Nick. Have either of you been to Montenegro?
No.
I haven't.
No.
I haven't. I hear it's very lovely, and obviously quite warm, I would think. Shark Kitty, Emily taught me to always put a little lower than the actual landing elevation because these systems are crap and they need to catch up. Fair enough. Because, of course, Emily flew the 737 WestJet. I'm going to say it was the 700. I'm pretty sure that's the primary aircraft that WestJet flies.
I think it is, yes. I'm too sure though.
You ever hear much from Emily these days, Shark Kitty? It sounds like she's kind of back into her day job nowadays. Flying people about. Okay, Rock Cruise. I want to show you guys something really cool. I think it's just ever so fun. So, as I mentioned, Synaptic Simulations just did a video, and they're showing some of the internal systems on the A220 which they're developing. Now, I'm going to say, based on what's been said, it sounds to me like they're still at least 6 months away from any kind of release, because they're still needing to do the VNAV, they're still needing to do the flight model, I think. But this is you can see there's been a lot of work done with the overhead and all of the avionics systems, and that's coming along absolutely swimmingly. And I was particularly impressed by this. And just look at that dash, absolutely amazing. So this is something I've been eagerly anticipating. I think there was a bit of a worry amongst me, including myself, that these guys had possibly the project had stalled and maybe it wasn't going to happen. But after seeing this, there's a hell of a lot of work been done, and I'm really, really excited. And of course, this is going to be completely free, guys. Completely free. And this will be available. If anybody flies the fly-by-wire, you'll see that there's an option for the Synaptic A220 in the fly-by-wire. Obviously not available as yet, but we would expect it to be available through there. It just looks phenomenal. I'm really, really excited about this. There's even a moving map. Now, this apparently required some sort of subscription to. It wasn't Navigas, it was Chart something or other. So Chart Fox, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that is.
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah,
Right.
it's basically the free alternative to Navigraph.
Interesting, because you can get that on the ATR as well.
Can you?
So I'm
Chart
presuming it
Fox.
must be free, yeah.
Yeah.
So that in upon itself, which of course is a lot of new modern airliners. I know the A380 has it, the 350 has it, the Dreamliner has this. I think certain variants of the 777 probably have this as well. Very, very cool as you're going through airports and stuff like that you're able to actually track your position via GPS onto a chart. So it just looks great. It just looks really, really cool. And you can actually see just at the top of the screen that as they're tracking through the airport, it's following along. So great work. Huge shout out to Synaptic Simulations. We're really, really excited for the work that you're doing, and we can't wait to get our hands on the Airbus 220. Formerly known as the Bombardier C Series, which of course was developed in Canada, which is why I'm partly so excited about it. It's probably one of the most advanced, well, it is the most advanced airliner developed to date. Very, very hyper efficient. There's just nothing that can touch it for economy in the skies right now. Obviously, it is a smaller class, but some people would say this is a regional airline. It's a regional airline that can fly 4,000 nautical miles. So it is a very, very impressive aircraft indeed. And they're still talking about, in real life, a stretch version. So quite possibly in the near future, there may be an announcement about the A220-500. And it's things like that keep Boeing directors up at night. That's all I can say. Because between the XLR and if there's an AT2500 announced, Kev, I don't know what your opinion is. I think Boeing's got massive problems.
Yeah, it'll be a challenge for them. Now, at the same time, Boeing has the reputation, as does, well, I suppose they are part of Airbus now, but I was going to say Airbus too, but
yeah.
Boeing does have a good reputation anyways, and they've got some very solid customers, like looking at Ryanair, for example, like they're the biggest customer, or I'd say maybe American.
Yeah.
So like they have that solid customer base, so I'd say they're not too challenged. But give it a few more years, we're going to wait and see.
Well, it'll be interesting, because I mean, it sounds like following the industry news, I know there's a bit of everybody's disappeared again, okay. There's a bit of a standoff between Michael O'Leary and Boeing over the price per unit that they were going to get on the MAX. So there's going to be a big Ryanair 737 MAX order.
Yeah.
I don't know which MAX he was looking at. I suspect it was probably the MAX 8. But obviously, O'Leary's a businessman. He wasn't getting the price he was hoping for. He had reasons as to why he wasn't happy with it, and it all kind of went quiet. But it sounds like those talks are starting to happen again.
Yeah.
So I would imagine from the Ryanair side of things, we should be seeing a 737 MAX order for Ryanair quite soon.
Definitely, yeah. They've got the MAX 8s in already, haven't they?
Say again, Kev?
They've got MAX 8s in already, I'm pretty sure.
I think they do, like on a limited basis.
Yeah.
Question: maybe do they own them? Maybe they're wet leased, or dry leased.
Liveries. So.
Well, you can still dry lease a plane and paint it up.
That's true. We actually have a point.
But they might be. I think a lot of airlines will dry lease an airplane for a period of time to try it out. As a bit of a trial basis to see if it's going to work for them. But I think it's, for Ryanair, I think it's a foregone conclusion. I mean, the MAX is essentially the A320neo, just the Boeing version. So it would be nonsensical for them to look at anything else at the moment, unless they were going to make a major change to their fleet. And in the case of Ryanair, pretty much, there's such a 737 dominant fleet that the training costs would be extraordinary.
Exactly. They have such a big pilot base.
They do, yeah. and that's one of the reasons. I think Southwest was another one. They were initially looking at the 220, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just buy that because we're not getting the price from Boeing." And Boeing's like, "Yeah, you're not going to change," and they didn't.
Yeah.
Delta, on the other hand, now Delta did make that big move. Delta had a relatively large fleet of 737s and still has a lot of 767s flying around the world. And they are slowly but surely changing over to Airbus. So the massive order for the Airbus 220, which of course is not quite an Airbus, but it's still closer to an Airbus than it is a Boeing. But they're also going to be looking at the A350, I believe, and they're certainly absolutely interested in the 330neo. So for Delta, that is a significant change. Now, they already had kind of a multi-type fleet anyway, but for them, I think it's just a cost, a long-term cost and efficiency type of plan that they have, and that's where they're going as Airbus. And I wouldn't be surprised. Since they're looking to retire the 767s, they may have some 757s as well. I'm not quite sure. They might do, but the natural replacement for the 757 is the A320 XLR, A321 XLR, I should say. Gives you a comparable range, actually better range, better fuel efficiency. You still have the same capacity, so you can, if you have a 3-class cabin in your 757, very easy to translate that to the XLR, and Boeing has nothing to match it. They just don't have it. So it's a short field performance as well, the XLR as well. So you're going to get the XLR into more airports than you would do if you had a Dreamliner, which has more capacity, or you could compare that to the Max. But even the Max, I think the Max 9, which is probably the highest capacity. Or is Max 10 as well, but then you're losing on the range. So it's there's a sweet spot right now that the 757 fills for certain airlines and used to fill for other airlines that 321 XLR is going to supplement, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And I think 797, the long rumored 797, is going to be. This is my personal guess. I think it's going to be a modern Boeing replacement for the Airbus 310. I think it'll be a short wide body with a mid-haul range, mid to long haul range. That's where I think it might be, and I think it'll be very close.
There's a gap, like now the 310 is being withdrawn, or has been withdrawn for a while now, hasn't it? And then there is that big gap in the market for something like that.
Yeah, so short. It's all about how you get that capacity. But obviously, the longer the airplane, the less airports it can fly into. But if you go with a wide body kind of approach, and they also lean heavily on the lessons learned and the systems that they developed for the 787 Dreamliner, you could have an extraordinary airplane in terms of efficiency and in terms of capacity and range, and have all three of those great things all together. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Sure.
Oh, I have it turned off. There we go. Warm. Flipping switches by accident. Can we see anyone behind us? I don't know. Oh, I think we can. Oh, there's Kevin up at 36,000, and Nick. Whereabouts are you, Nick? You at 29?
Yep, 29, yeah.
Yeah, I got 29 as well. Move that up for a bit. Yeah, so there we go. Dry lease. Johnny Mon, what's a dry lease? Is that what you're asking? A dry lease is... There's two different kind of leases. So a lot of airlines, most airlines, will fly airplanes that they don't actually own. They lease them. From there's a couple of major companies. In fact, the largest company in the world, Kev, is in your country. Yeah. So there's two types of leasing. Now there's a wet lease, and this I'll give you an example of that. A wet lease is where you rent the plane. You might even paint the plane, but the crew is actually staffed by the airline that owns it. So example of that would be there was an airline called Globespan, which started up in Scotland some time ago. Unfortunately, they fell victim of the credit crisis and I think some dirty tactics by British Airways. But Globespan, a lot of their planes were wet leased from Icelandic Air. So when I was flying them from Scotland to Canada, which is one of their big routes, the crew were all Icelandic because they were all Icelandic Air crew and pilots. So that's a wet lease, and then basically you're renting time. So they own the airplane, but you can on a semi-permanent basis you can rent that airplane. So well, we're going to paint it up. They don't always paint it up, but a lot of times they do. Paint it up. You give us the plane and the crew. We'll rent it for a block of time, and we'll pay you for that rental. Now that is quite an expensive way to do it, but it's a great way to get up and started if you don't, from a recruiting and you don't have to worry about the crew. You don't have to worry about that because they provide all that. Now dry lease is just renting that plane outright, so that you don't own the plane, but everything else you need to supply. You need to supply the crew, the maintenance. That's another thing with a wet lease. Usually the wet lease will do the maintenance as well. So you have to do the maintenance. You have to provide the crew. You have to paint it. Everything is your responsibility. You don't own the plane. You have to pay them for it, but you are responsible for the upkeep of that plane. And when you hand that back after the end of the lease, you need to demonstrate that all of that maintenance has been undertaken to the best of to the standard that is required, so that airplane can then be released possibly onto somewhere else, and it still retains the depreciation value that was expected for the airline. So a bit of news on that is one of the largest dry lease airlines in the world was Aeroflot, which is Russian, as you know. When Putin obviously was making his moves on the Ukraine, all the lease companies recalled their aircraft from Russia, so that all the Russian airlines, including Aeroflot, were supposed to return their airplanes immediately. And if any of those airplanes showed up in a cooperating company, mainly EU or America or Britain or anywhere like that, those airplanes would have been seized by the local authorities and then arranged for to be returned back to the lease company. Now, Putin didn't want that to happen, so basically he said, no, you're not having these planes back, and they're going to nationalize them. So at that point, the lease companies had to write off the airplanes because there was no way for them to guarantee that any maintenance would be carried out, or any maintenance that was carried out was actually up to standard, because they weren't certified. So basically, and we're talking about billions worth of aircraft here. All these billions of aircraft in Russia became dead to the lease companies. They might as well have crashed into the ocean. And I don't know what the repercussions of that. Kevin, I mean, did you ever follow that story with the Irish company? Because
I read up on it once. I've kind of half forgotten what it was now, but yeah, it seemed to be honestly quite concerning, like for the Russian people.
Very dramatic.
Very dramatic,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
but also very concerning, like, because if they're doing domestic services in Russia now and something happens, like they'll be flying with dodgy parts.
Yeah.
And they won't have the current information. Like, if the FCOM updates for say for the Airbus,
yep.
If they send out a NOTAM or whatever they call it for the maintenance records,
or
if something happens,
or an AIRAC update.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I don't know what they'll be getting AIRAC updates.
I don't know.
Because they'd be in charge of their own.
They're
AIP.
probably having to make their own somehow, but there's no guarantee that they're doing that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, software updates, it's basically a software update of a kind. How easy is that to do if you don't actually have access to authorized Airbus maintenance personnel? I don't know.
It'd be very hard.
Yeah, I don't know. And there could be security protocols that prevent that from happening without someone who knows what they're doing. So,
yeah.
Big question mark. Big question mark.
Yeah, it's very worrying. Like, because I'd say now, the access.
Well, that's why the
in-
Russian airplanes are banned from flying into Europe and all that. It's not just because
Yeah.
of the war; it's because of safety,
Yeah.
right?
The
So-
accident rates are going to shoot up now, I'd say.
Yep. And now that it's past the point of no return, even if, for the sake of argument, some Russian 777 did fly into Germany, there's no point in recalling that aircraft now because the lease company doesn't want it back.
Yeah.
It's already been written off.
Exactly, yeah.
But they would rather that airplane not fly into European airspace because it's potentially dangerous. So,
Yeah.
like drop out of the sky, dangerous. So yeah, it's really interesting. Johnny Munn says, I just assumed all airlines purchase their planes, but it makes sense to have lease options for smaller. No, actually, Johnny, it's not necessarily smaller airlines that do that. You'll find a lot of larger airlines may lease them. As we mentioned, Ryanair is potentially leasing at the moment as well. And it all depends on what their model is. Sometimes when they're trying out new routes, they don't necessarily want to commit owned equipment to that. So there's no hard or fast rule why airlines lease or don't lease. There's a lot of different business models for why that's a practical way to do it. But it's just a common thing. Brian Dyer pops in. He says, hello, everyone. By the way, how you doing, Brian? Sorry, I didn't see you
Hey,
earlier
Brian.
there.
Thanks.
He says, there would be no guarantee that OEM parts would be used for repairs. Correct. Also, given
Yeah.
the embargoes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is absolutely 100% correct, and that's part of the
There's
problem.
no access to them.
Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if any of those airliners are still flying around. That there'll probably be parts that have been welded together or fixed in some sort of uncouth way. And
I know they had a load saved. Like when they found out, I think they prepared like kind of stockpiled a load of extra aircraft to use for parts.
Yeah,
To cannibalize. Yeah.
but even then, that's not really a great way to do it.
No.
It's a bit of Chinese thinking there, I think.
Yeah.
And Dan says, no, I just woke up. I was hoping to fly alongside you today as I have Saturday off. That's okay, Dan. Dan, we're having terrible problems with the multiplayer anyway. Ever since the sim update, it's been a pain, so there's no guarantee we would have seen you. But yeah, we certainly wish you could have joined us. But at least you're here. At least you're here watching along. Sharky says, too much beer yesterday, she says.
And on the bridge.
Yeah, all you sim heads are Friday night hawks, aren't you? I know you are, Kev.
Had been.
You tend to stay up late on a Friday night.
Oh yes. I think been now. Yeah. No, I did go to bed very early, so I was very tired, so I went to bed at 10.
Did you? So did I, actually. I went at 9:30.
Wow.
I was absolutely
Look at
zonked. Yeah, I was 9:30.
Yeah.
I was like, kind of, I can't remember watching something on television. It was something I really wanted to see as well. And I just, when you're kind of sitting there, and then it's getting worse as I get older as well. When you feel tired, but now I don't even get to the I feel tired stage. I just start to nod off.
Yeah.
It's like it's sneaking up to me. I'm like, it doesn't help that I'm sitting under a warm blanket with slippers on, but and I got a Labrador to keep my lap warm as well, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Just warm cup of tea, and it's like, oh man, that's the problem. It's the tea.
Exactly.
So I do this thing.
He can't do wonders, in fairness.
Well, what I've been doing at night, rather than drinking caffeine, so what I'll do is I got Rubius or Red Bush tea, and I make a big pot, and I take a half a lemon and I slice that up, drop that into the pot, and then two bags of the Rubius tea, pour obviously the hot water into it, and I let that steep for a good 10 minutes, give it a bit of a shake, and when it comes out, you've got this nice lemon flavored kind of Red Bush tea, and I'll drink the whole pot progressively over the course of an hour, but by the time I get to the end of the second cup, I can feel myself going to the point where Mrs. Kinna gives me a whack in the shoulder. He says, wake up! He said, you're tired, go to bed. She gets really irritated when I fall asleep on the couch. You're tired, go to bed. So then you go to bed, and he goes, oh, well, I guess there's so much for having a good evening with you then, but you told me to go to bed.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose situation.
I feel like I'm on the set of Faulty Towers sometimes. She goes, Basil, don't fall asleep on the couch. Anyway.
Shucks, this is not a good time yet. Any type of steed.
I think I'm about 20 miles from top of descent.
I was on top of you for a few minutes there. I'm after reaching my top instant, and I can slow down to max up to.
Yeah, you're probably going a bit quicker than I was.
Yeah, up with
It's not tea time yet, you bunch of Brits, Shark Kitty says.
Yeah.
Brian says
I
I was in bed by 9 p.m. after a long week. Yeah, fair enough, mate.
Yeah, it was a long week for me as well.
Yeah. Okay, let's do some things about this. So we are flap configuration. That's what I want. So I think when I hit is it Sorag? I think I want to, about that point, I want to get into at least flaps 1 and get the plane slowed down. Now, it is saying 240. Well, we'll take it by ear. But,
I think Dan has a guide for you to how to plan your flaps.
I'm not talking about flap rings here. don't even go to there. So, no. But GoSit recommends, so it's 210 in the plan for GoSit, but I think at that point I'm going to definitely have flaps when I start slowing that airplane down, so we can get a nice stable approach. 143, pretty much all the way down to runway 32. Now for the actual approach, I'm going to go flaps 40 on this. I tried a flaps 31, I've just found that was a bit too precarious to carry out. So that gives us a landing of 124, so I probably want to be around 128, 129 on approach when VNAV hands back control of the auto throttle to us, and that should give us.
Do you have working TCAS in 7.3 with it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, there's a chance you might get an Orbx in a few minutes. I'm coming in very close behind.
Alright. Could
Yeah, so just be ready for
you not just deviate?
I can, but it's just a bit awkward.
I can.
I didn't know you were flying Ryanair today. Are you flying Ryanair?
Who?
Ryanair, yeah. We don't move for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're landing short of the runway. I don't care. The runway should move to me.
What's that clip you put on Gavin Cybernick from HD?
He was having a problem with a Ryanair that wasn't. It was on VATSIM but wasn't saying anything. And he just said on the stream. He said, "I have priority. I'm not letting some stinky Ryanair get in front of me or something."
Yeah.
Fighting words. Okay, top of the set.
You're good. That's 231 now.
Right. Could we have a METAR check, please, for Tivat?
You can. Have 1 second. Get my EFB up. Come on now. We're kind of Phoenix.
Never used
That
TAR.
measure.
Yeah.
This
Brian-
is another stream.
Brian says
Yeah.
maybe
So-
maybe post if you could post the METAR into the chat, Kev, I'll probably be
Give me 2 seconds. Let me get the laptop up, the keyboard up. So
no worries.
I'll read this out for you anyways if you need it. So variable 1 knot, no visibility issues, overcast at 08, temperature 17, QNH 1016, and do put
Okay,
12.
that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I'll throw it to the chat there now.
1016, you said, yeah. Sorry, I'm
Six,
get back to Brian in a minute. No, Brian said I really need to get back to flying. I have done 1 flight since the previous sim update. Oh wow. Installed most recent update, but I haven't flown. Sometimes it's just a time management issue, Brian, if you're busy. It's a good thing about having the stream actually is it does force me to fly. Which sounds like, well, how can you force to fly? Don't you do this for fun? Yeah, I do absolutely do it for fun, but there's a lot of distractions in my life, family and work and all sorts of things like that. So it gives me the motivation to do a lot more simming than I probably normally would if I didn't, because I'm very passionate about it. I really love it, but in the past I just didn't get around to doing it. Eventually, just suddenly, next thing you know, it's been like 6 months and you haven't touched the sim. Whereas with being part of Positive Rate, with this motley crew that I have, we all get together and we enjoy flying with each other, and it really kind of pushes you to to keep your skills up. So and I'm glad that I do it. It's quite good. Oh, Johnny, I see Johnny's popped in, so I think we probably get a bit more multiplayer showing up now. Dan says, small tip, turn QNH dial without going into set pressure. You can preset the QNH without clicking. Oh, can you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, handy. And another one, for if you're setting the minimums, because you need to have them the same usually, unless they're synced on both PFDs, you can go up above your head, and it's the button switch for the. So let's see, can you put it up on the stream there?
Sorry, I'm looking at the overhead.
Anyways, so above the fuel panel is the fuel temperature gauge. Above that, to the right, there's the control panel. So if you press that into both on one, then flick it back to normal, it'll sync the two PFDs.
Ooh, hot tips.
Because there's some, I think they call it a bug in the actual aircraft where that works too. So they've included it in the.
Oh right, so it is a look at. Yeah, sorry, I'm just.
It's not a bug; it's a feature.
I'm looking at the mountains in this are very unique, aren't they? It's very rocky, kind of arid terrain.
Have you slowed down by the way, Willy? Because I'm keeping speed with you if not overtaking.
No, I've not slowed down. No.
Right,
Wow.
I'm going to have to speed up so to 320 because I'm going to have to overtake you. So you might have to slow down a bit more.
Okay, I can't. Yeah. I'm seeing you intermittently, so I don't know if TCAS will actually go off.
Yeah, if you look up, you'll see me anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get our game face on. I never turn the seatbelt off, that's right. I don't, passengers are all dead anyways.
Alright, I'm past you now?
Yeah, nothing on the TCAS, so I don't know if maybe the TCAS isn't working.
Maybe not, yeah, it wasn't working for me before, so. If you look up and out anyways, you'll be able to see me.
Just a quick look. Oh yeah, no. CNAC. I don't see it, Kev. Don't know.
Nice, strange.
Johnny says, or Sharky, the level detail swap when you were saying it's gorgeous, yeah. Wow, look at it now. So obviously it was loading in. Johnny Man says, it's such a dope, I just noticed the server identity at the top of the screen. Alright. Alright, let's a bit more focus on the airplane now. Okay, time for tips and hints is over, folks. I'm in approaching landing phase now. Still on profile. It's an absolutely wondrous VNAV on the PMDG 7.3. It really is. It's one thing they've really nailed on this this model is the VNAV's just great.
Yeah, it's the same with the Phoenix. They've done a fairly good job of it anyways.
Hmm. Just taking the sights. Yeah, there is some interesting switchovers there happening. Oh, it's popping in now. Look at that. Wow. Is Montenegro known for skiing?
I think so.
Not sure how high those mountains are, but they look relatively substantial.
I can get the MSA for you. So up our direction, it's 84,000 or 8,400. Sorry. Then to our left, 7,600, and out seabound it's 6,900. So,
Yeah, so that's
quite a tall island here too.
pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Some little towns down there, so you just wonder if maybe some of those might be ski resorts.
Maybe. Yeah.
Get landing lights on.
Alright, 215.
Speed check next is after this 240 at Biglow. It certainly doesn't disappoint, this route, for the scenery anyway.
Yeah. Stunning.
Okay. Decel point, 10,000 feet.
Out now.
We should shortly see that speed start to come down, which it is. Strange how it's incrementally doing it, though. I never noticed that. It's a different way of doing it. Okay.
We're passing overhead field soon.
I see Nighthawk up ahead of me, so he should be in the pattern now.
Yeah, I'm just above him, I think.
We're now slowing down to 240, which is our set for Biglow, and we'll probably be holding that for a little bit as we come around the loop. And as soon as we pass, as soon as we come up to GOSAT, that's where I'm going to drop the first stage of flaps, get us slowed down. But so far we're on profile, so we don't need any kind of drag as yet. But we'll keep an eye on it.
And I'm overhead.
Oh, I see you. Well, you're quite
Very
high.
good.
You're very high.
I'm making my way down. I have 4,000 to lose.
Oh, mind you, I should be in standard. Or 116. There we go,
Yeah.
it's switched. Still on profile. Making our first pass through Taz NB. I can see Kevin started his turn now. And now off we go into the approach. Our next altitude checkpoint, this is calculated, be 5,500 at Sorag, dropping to 4,000 feet at Gosit as we begin our final descent into the offset localizer approach to Tivat.
Once you're over the mountains.
Oh, speaking of offset localizer approach, actually. 1110.3.334. Let's see, 110. 111. 111.3. Course 334. Go. All's right with the universe at the moment. good so far. Right mix of rock and I think it looks like grass. Let me see. Is it trees? Not sure.
Moss.
Moss.
Mossy grass.
Heather.
Heather.
Could be heather, yeah. I'm wondering, would it be gorse? Probably not, like, it's probably...
I thought it was, excuse my ignorance, I thought gorse was kind of like a British thing, or a British-Irish thing anyway.
Yeah, it's probably the wrong climate, I think probably too warm. I read somewhere that it's
It's
really...
quite temperate
Yeah.
for gorse, isn't it? If we're in Scotland, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, that's what it is.
Yeah,
but then
exactly, yeah.
gorse looks, it doesn't quite look green though, it's apart from certain times of years, most of the time it's brown, isn't it?
Yeah, well, spring, summer, and early autumn, a bit greener.
It can actually go purple at times.
I've never seen it go purple, that was
Or maybe that's the heather. But you get some crazy colours in the spring and the autumn.
Yeah. There's a road near me that's completely lined in gorse bushes. It's stunning in summer.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. Approaching the localizer. So I will arm that localizer approach. And I'm going to bring in our first stage of flaps.
Nice, I'm on the localizer.
Looking at your screen versus my screen, the weather is completely different.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a bit grim here, like.
it's grim. Yeah.
Alright. Pretty sure I got live weather on. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn it on.
Yeah. Well,
Do not turn it on.
it's open,
You're lucky.
but it's a lot nicer on your end.
Oh, come on. Good for a laugh. Is it it's still 1016 though, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're all watching
Oh,
up here.
I reset, you know what I did? I reset the online services to try and fix the multiplayer, and it must have switched the live weather off. I hadn't realized it. Okay, here's localizer's approach. So we're going to thread the needle between those two hills.
So watch out for when I talk myself, Willy, because you seem to be barreling in.
I can't see anybody,
Okay.
so
I'm blind.
yeah. So I think the more accurate thing is watch out for me.
Fair.
Sorry, I can't. There's
No
nothing I
worries.
can do.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm a bit happier about this approach this time around. Practice runs are good because practice runs you can screw up as much as you want on a practice run. To be fair, I've always landed it. It's just some landings were more pretty than others. But there is a learning experience, and I think the same with the Innsbruck and some of the more challenging airports. Some airports require special training, and that's the reason. You want to fly with someone who's experienced and knows the approach. It can kind of give you some hints and tips along the way to make sure that you can fly a safe landing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the localizer now locked in. So now using a combination, the VNAV is flying the profile based on the set altitudes in the plan, but the airplane is using its lateral navigation based on the beam from the localizer, which is quite neat. So you're actually using a combination of two different things to keep the airplane on track. And so far it seems to be following the profile absolutely beautifully. Okay. Check. Joystick calibration. It's not the best time, but I need to do it.
2500.
Now that's another thing I've put on. There's an option which I found where you can see your throttle set position versus the actual auto throttle.
Yeah, that's very handy.
Yeah.
I like to match them up.
So, because I've many times turn off the auto throttle, and of course my throttle's set a lot higher, and suddenly you get a spool up when you don't want it.
Yeah.
It's quite handy that.
Yeah, it's happened to me a few times in the 310 because you can't match them there.
That's it. And I can see the airport now. So actually, at this point, we can go manual anytime we want.
Yeah, I'm manual at the moment now.
I'll give it a little bit further.
You might want to turn off your terrain warnings as well, by the way, because it's.
Oh yeah, how do I do that?
It's across here on your FO side, and there's 3 switches that are guarded. I think it's the first one. Should be labeled terrain, anyways. And Nick, for you, I think you know where it is, but if you don't, it's above you, well, there should be people grace.
But just turn that off.
I love hearing that sound. Just adds that excitement.
Approaching minimum.
What, you love hearing terrain?
Yeah,
terrain. Pull up.
pull up.
Alright, I'll throw off. Get up.
1000.
Flaps would be good. I haven't been paying attention to that. In gear.
You're up down the time, anyways. You're not in a TC3 in the same berths.
Just continue to fly the plane.
There's no wind at all.
I've got a horn that I can't get rid of now.
What is it, your gear horn, probably?
Oh, it's going to be fast and furious, this one. Here we go. Fly the plane. Fly the plane. Fly the plane.
Down. First screen, spoilers up. 100 knots.
Trim's fighting me, so I'm adjusting that.
60 off the brakes.
Probably not the best, but not bad. It was a Ryanair landing, certainly.
Alright, well I'm clear now anyways.
First thrust.
Set 1.
Yeah. Wasn't procedurally, that was a mess, but I think my landing was alright.
I came in a bit fast in the sync rate, but I thought it was not too bad either.
It's easily done on this approach, actually.
Yeah.
Really need to think about it. Too much talking. Of course, that's the difference. You know, I'm trying to present and fly the plane at the same time.
Yeah.
Some streamers go completely quiet. I've never learned my lesson. I just keep talking. All right, am I okay to park at gate 3?
Well, I'm at 1, and let me turn around there and we'll see. Yeah. So all the main gates are free.
Okay.
Yeah, Johnny's parked in one of the GA spots, and it's the furthest down on the top right. Nighthawk's coming in, looking good. Nicely done.
Oh, see him? Yep.
And here comes Nick.
Can't see Nick at all, unfortunately.
Nice.
It's going to be a butter landing, Willy. Quick, sort it out.
No, I can't.
Is it? See how well's mine.
Yeah, Nighthawk's all I can see, unfortunately. No. Very intermittent and strangely selective, this multiplayer at the moment. You see some people, not others.
Yeah. Flare, Nick. Flare.
Oh, what a shame.
Nice.
I've always landed well at Tivat. I don't know what it is.
Very good. Yeah, I put her in a bit early and a bit hard, but
I
not too
remember
bad.
flying in with Gavin once, like the first time, and I was just like, oh, I've done quite well with this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's stutter. I got that up.
so let's have a look at this scenery.
Yeah.
Because it raises some interesting points, I feel.
This scenery.
Yep.
Interesting and good, or interesting and bad?
Interesting in a question.
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay.
Get there in a second. Just getting the airplane down. We'll get all our various. That's for that. Get some strong ground pair there. Ground power, please. Playing with switches on final doesn't help. Oh, I messed up. Come on, that's my ground power.
I haven't been given one by Phoenix. I wonder if there's no group over here.
Disconnecting. There it is.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, I can't see. I can hear you guys. That's a strange thing. Pain in the bum. Anyway, there you go. Oh, that's an interesting approach for a start truck. Yeah, I'll keep Nighthawk in the shot there anyway. Yeah, so it's super frustrating. Obviously, multiplayer is causing havoc with us right now, but hopefully we'll get some sort of hotfix, or I suspect it's actually a server issue. So I don't even know if there's anything in the sim that needs to be corrected. But yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
the server gets to the
server
heart of it
side.
soon. But all the same, I certainly enjoyed your company, Nick and Kevin, so thank you for coming along today.
No worries.
And big shout out to Stu. He says sorry next time. Yeah, no worries, mate. Glad you could pop in and say hi though. Big thank you to Shark Kitty, who has been with us the whole time as well, and Nighthawk and Johnny Mon for joining us. Was John? Yeah, Johnny Mon's there. There he is. Yeah. Big shout out to Dan as well for checking in with us on the chat. Anybody else of interest? And Two Cats at the start for saying hello. Yeah, good approach. A lot of good fun. Shame about the multiplayer, but apart from that, it was a good challenge. I quite liked it, and certainly something you had to keep your wits about you. And it really puts what I did like about Kev is it really puts the PMDG through its paces and really shows off what the airplane can
Yeah.
do.
Except with the Phoenix.
And yeah, I can imagine so. Yeah, so it's all very, very cool. But all great things must come to an end. So I wish you guys a fantastic weekend. Nick, thanks for coming along today, mate. I really appreciate your
Yeah, no
company.
problem. Enjoyable as always.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kev, thank you for the wonderful flight plan and for flying with us as well today. And hopefully next time I can see you.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
But it was funny when you're saying you're getting close to me, and I'm like, well, that's just the usual, isn't it? It doesn't matter what stream we're on. You and me are always like in proximity to one another.
Exactly.
Big goodbye to Johnny Mon. He says, take care, gents. Thank you. And bye to Shark Kitty as well. Great flight, says Nighthawk. Glad you enjoyed it, mate. We'll see you next time right here on Positive Rate. We are having a bit of a debate about whether to change our fixed time to Saturday, so I'm going to catch up with the team after that. But do check the stream notifications and the channel for future times. And I think, what are we doing next week, Nick?
Fighter jets.
Fighter jets, yeah. So we're going to go back into the fast movers and have a bit of spin in those for a change. We're not going to do that as often because I think we did a poll and everyone seems to like the airliner streams more. So we're going to probably do an airliner stream every 2 weeks, and then I'll flip back and forth between general aviation and fighters. So yeah, see you next week. All the best from all of us here at Positive Rate. Big kiss. See you later, guys.